Hey folks, and welcome back to another video from myself. Today we're going to be talking about the story behind your brand identity. Now, it could be that you have got a really cool looking design for your logo, but is that the thing that someone's always going to remember, or could something else help them to remember your brand? I'm going to suggest that by having a good story behind your brand identity, it makes it easier for people to remember who you are and to trigger that little brand association with what it is that you do or the product that you sell. Now, the story doesn't have to be complicated or long and drawn out. It's just that little hook that someone's going to remember easily when they're thinking about your brand. Now, for example, my business name is Pixels Inc. There isn't a really complex story behind that, but there is a story. I studied animation for my degree, and back in 2002, 2003, there was a chance that I was going to be starting up my own business, and I needed a name. The most recent film at the time was Monsters Inc. And so my brain started to think, how can I kind of tie in my love of animation, but I'm going to be doing graphic design. How can I bring the two in? And so I was thinking of ways to have a business name which pulled in the digital and the more traditional drawing side of graphic design. So you would have Pixels for the digital side, and you have Ink for the traditional side. That's kind of where the Pixar thing came in the animation, because Monsters Inc. was around. And so I thought Pixels Inc., kind of playing on the incorporated, Pixels Incorporated, but I changed it to INK. So for me, it was a little bit of a backstory to the name of my new company. It's not a complicated story, it's quite a simple one, but it is something that I can tell people that they remember, and it also gives a bit of history about where I come from with my animation degree. Now, over time, my logo has changed and adapted, but the name and the story behind it will always stay the same. Here are a couple of other examples of clients that I've worked with who have a story behind their brand identity. The first up is Finn & Co. Now, Pamela Laird, who owns Finn & Co., which is a hair salon in Carnoustie, approached me initially looking for a website. But we soon realised that she didn't really have a strong brand to build that website around. So the first stage for us was to create a new brand identity. I got speaking to Pam and we got chatting about the usual things like core values and colours. And just from chatting away to Pam, she told me that she had a bit of an obsession for pink flamingos. Now, I didn't want to put a flamingo into the logo for Finn & Co. It just wasn't really the right thing. But during my sketching process, which you can see here on screen, one of the things that Pam mentioned was she didn't want to use a pair of scissors. It was too cliche. But whilst working on that and trying to look at some negative space, I could see that from inside an open pair of scissors, you had two triangles. And when I thought about a flamingo, flamingos, when they stand on one leg, and the space left between that curved knee and leg, which is hitched up, is a triangle. And so I had a bit of a connection there between the scissors and Pam's love of flamingos. And anyway, we took this on further and the logo developed, and it was quite abstract. It was there to represent the multifaceted team that Pam has, the bright coloured atmosphere that you get when you go into the business. But I was also able for Pam to get a little bit of that flamingo in there. So when anyone asks Pam about her logo, she can always say, yeah, it's based on a flamingo. Now that's going to get people thinking because it doesn't look like a flamingo at all, but it gives Pam the chance to tell her story. And when people remember Pam, they'll think about flamingos, and that's an unusual thing to think of with a brand association. And the other client that I worked with was Volunteer Centre Dundee. They put people into volunteering positions throughout the city of Dundee. This helps the volunteers improve their skill base and their CV, and also helps improve the lives of others who they are helping. Volunteer Dundee wanted people to know that they reached out to all of the areas of Dundee. So whilst working on some concept designs, I looked a bit further into the outreach centres and the things that Volunteer Centre Dundee did. I soon noticed that there were 8 wards in Dundee, or 8 main areas. So what I did was I brought those into the logo. We went with a letter V because it stands for volunteer, and we wanted that to be the main focus of the brand. By sectioning up the V into 8 parts, we got the 8 wards of Dundee in there. Now we also have the lines which cut through the letter V to create these 8 wards. And these lines represented the 2 main routes through Dundee, and also the River Tay, which Dundee is on the banks of. So by having this new logo, which was bright and colourful, represented the 8 wards, and also had some other elements of Dundee in and around it, again, it has a story to tell. It isn't just a nice looking symbol or a nice looking picture. There is an element of storytelling imbued within the brand identity. So when you're having your logo designed, or if you're a designer looking to design a logo, dig deep, look for the story. The story can often lead you to a final brand identity design that you would never have thought of. It can help differentiate you from your competitors in a way that you just didn't think was possible. By not having a story, the chances are you may end up with something far too similar to people in your industry. But by having your own individual story, your brand identity is going to be unique to you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, folks, and I'd just quickly like to mention that I do have a Facebook group called Rock Your Brand, which you're more than welcome to join, where we discuss all things brand and branding. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this far and wide with your social media followers. And until I see you next time, stay creative, folks.